Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today is going to be an educational one, not necessarily for you, but for me. Today I have the Burgess XL Rat Care Guide, and I want to go through it, as someone who doesn't have rats or who has done like no research into rat care. I want to see what this can teach me, and if it sounds legit to me, like I said, I've never had rats. I've never gone and done research for rats, but I want to see if this information at least sounds decent. And yeah, I'm just going to go through it and see like how much this little pamphlet booklet can actually tell me. So if we look at the contents page, there's Introduction to Rats, Why Rats Make Good Pets, A General Guide to Rat Nutrition, Balanced Nutrition, Burgess XL Nuggets, Housing and Exercise, Behavior and Companionship, and Health. So this booklet does cover quite a bit. I'm going to go through it and we're going to see what is in here. Now obviously I'm going to promote that you do lots of research before getting a pet, but just imagine if this was in the pet store and someone walks in and they kind of make the quick decision to get a rat, which you shouldn't do. You shouldn't get a pet like on a quick decision, but let's say you did, okay? What is going to be, is the stuff in here going to help that person? I don't know, that's kind of my thoughts. So like if I was going to get a rat and I walk into the pet store and I pick this up, can I find everything I'm looking for? So in Introduction to Rats, like I said, I don't know much about rats, so here it's telling me they live 2 to 3.5 years, okay? So I know what I'm getting into. Tells me when they're most active, so it's at night or at dawn and dusk, okay? Omnivores, so they eat a little bit of everything, okay? Then it says that they're smart and they're clean, okay? Now I'm looking at the general nutrition. So obviously, this being a Burgess care guide, they're going to advertise their own food. I know their chinchilla pellets are really good. Their rabbit pellets are really good. I would assume their rat ones are really good. But I don't know. It is mentioning here that it's better to give them the balanced pellets, nuggets, instead of the muesli mix that rats will pick and choose what they want to eat. So, I mean, that makes sense. I don't know how much or how often rats pick out things in a muesli mix if they're really bad at it like other pets. I don't know, but that makes sense to me. Coming from the knowledge of chinchillas and rabbits, I would agree that probably shouldn't give your pets a muesli mix where they only eat half the stuff. It also lists occasional treats like dog kibble, most fruits and vegetables, chicken, hard-boiled eggs, mealworms, pasta, brown rice, baby food. You'd have to know which baby food. I'm sure there's some that aren't that healthy. Under the not at all, there is what? Apple seeds, yes, obviously. Oranges, probably too acidic for them, something, okay. Poppy seeds, okay. Carbonated drinks, caffeine, onions, peanuts, cake, chocolate. Okay, understandable. This is the ingredients for their pellets, what's in there, some other stuff. Okay, housing and exercise. So now I've looked at this. I've decided, okay, I'm getting a rat. It has a life expectancy of 2 to 3.5 years. I know that I've got to give it a nice healthy food, and they're omnivores. And okay, so now I've decided that I'm going to be feeding this, and I've decided I've gotten a rat. Now I'm walking further into the pet store. Now let me look at housing and exercise. So how big should my rat's house be? Let's see. However, it shouldn't be any less than 60 centimeters by 40 centimeters by 36 centimeters per rat, which sounds very, very small. I don't know the minimum sizing for rats. I don't know if that's accurate, I don't know if that's too small, I don't know if that's a generous amount. What I have seen, I mean, I follow a lot of pet information pages and people who have rats and that, so I've seen the cages that rats are kept in are smaller than what I would think, because I'm used to having chinchillas. We have like a massive thing for chinchillas, so when I look at rat things, I'm like, they look smaller to me, or they are smaller. So from what I understand, rats can live in a smaller thing, although obviously you should always give them a nice big space, but from what I know, you can go a bit smaller. Okay, my point is, I still don't know if that's a good minimum size or not. But anyway, so what goes in my rat's housing? Oh, that's a good point. Now I've picked out a cage. Now I need to know what goes in it. Lots of levels that he can climb, nesting boxes, a hammock or two, okay? The floor should be covered in an absorbent material. Okay, so yeah, they're suggesting a paper-based rat bedding and not sawdust or wood shavings. Okay, that I know, you don't do sawdust and wood shavings. Here it's mentioning that the rat should come out for playtime. Oh, here it also says, where should I house my rats? That's a good point that I don't think other care guides might add. So now I've brought my imaginary rat cage and my rats home. Where do I put it? That's a good point. What does it say here? Indoors, and it says regulated around 20 degrees. I'm assuming that's Celsius. And then kept away from drafts and direct sunlight, in a quiet area, but also an area where you spend a lot of time, which, okay, makes sense. Quiet, but where you are a lot of the time. There's also a little section on what toys to give your rats, which is nice, because I think even if the information in here is not necessarily accurate, I'm not saying it's not, but even if it wasn't, I think just having a point that says like, what toys should I get my rats, would like get people thinking, oh, okay, I need to get toys for my rats, and then they can go look for toys for their rats. Whereas they could just not mention toys, and then people would not even think about getting their rats toys. You know what I mean? So it's a nice thing to just put in there. How often should I clean my rat's housing? Surprisingly, people don't know how often they must clean their pets' cages and stuff. So basically this is saying that you do spot cleans, but then once a week you give a good thorough clean. But then you must also leave some of their soiled bedding so it does at least still smell like them, which sounds about right. I think that's the same for like hamsters. Not that I know much about hamsters either. But anyway, that should be another video. Behavior and companionship, that's a good one. How many rats should I keep? How should I handle my rats? How much should I interact with my rats? Can rats be aggressive, and can I keep rats with other pets? That's a good point. Keeping multiple species together. Don't do it. It doesn't work unless you're doing like fish, and even then sometimes it doesn't work. Here it does say that rats shouldn't be kept on their own. I don't know how true that is, but I do always see people who have a pair of rats, so I'm going to assume that that's true. So having this behavior and companionship section now tells me that I know I should keep more than one rat. It also tells me that I should be spending lots of time with them, and that they don't often bite, and if they do bite, then maybe I just need to do more handling and taming, and maybe there's a reason if they're scared or injured. Health and well-being, that's a good section I think to add in a care guide to give to people, which I must say that's what I like so far about this, is that it's an actual pamphlet. It's not a single piece of paper with barely any info on. I think that all care guides should be a little pamphlet, and like, obviously you can't fit everything anyone has to know in a little pamphlet, but it's way better than just having a single sheet of paper. Health and well-being. So now these are some things that I, as a new rat owner, would have to expect or should be thinking about. It's talking about You don't need to vaccinate your rats, but they should go for an annual checkup. Do I need to bath my rat? No bathing rats, but let them swim a little if they want. I don't know anything about rats and bathing. Should I neuter my rats? Yes. It's a good point. Always spay and neuter your pets if it's safe and if you can find a good vet. What are the common problems to look out for? Respiratory infections, obesity, stress, tumors. Okay, I think those are the 4 main ones about rats. That's a good point. On the back of this guide they do advertise Carefresh. I don't know if Carefresh is safe for rats. I don't know if rats would eat it. And because I know Carefresh isn't safe for chinchillas because of the fact that some chinchillas will eat it, and if they do eat it, then it gets, because it expands and it's super absorbent, it expands in their stomach, and then that causes a world of trouble. I don't know if that's the same for rats. It's on the back, yeah, I'm just saying. So as a whole, what do I think of this guide? First, remember, I don't know much about rats. This is just me, like, how much could this tell me if I were getting a new rat or getting my first rat? And I think it taught me quite a lot. It talks about their diet so that I know how to give them a healthy diet. It talks about their health and some of the main problems to look out for. It mentions a specific minimum cage size, which I think is quite nice, because remember, I don't know if that's an accurate minimum cage size, but I think it is nice to at least have a cage size mentioned. I mean, obviously I would like it to be the minimum, like an actual minimum, but my point is that if they do mention a cage size, then it gives people less of an excuse to go and get a smaller cage. You know what I mean? Like, if it said the minimum cage size was, what are those things called, like a double ferret nation, then everyone would go and get a double ferret nation, whereas if they just say get the biggest one that you can find, you could go and say, well, the biggest one I could find was this little critter trail. This also did mention a bit about their behavior and their companionship, which is nice, so I kind of know what kind of behavior to expect, and I know to get them in pairs so that they're happier together. I must say this did feel kind of comprehensive, which is nice, but again, if I were getting rats, I would not stop here, because even if it says I need toys for my rats and I need lots of levels and fun things in their cage, it's like I need to see examples of it, I need to see which toys are safe, because I'm sure there's toys out there which are not safe. So that's further research that I'd have to go do, which toys are safe, which can be used, different types of toys, all these kind of things. So that's it for today's video. If you did find this even slightly entertaining, then maybe click the like button. It'd make me feel happy, if you would. You don't have to, but if you do, thanks. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!